Okay, today we're going to look at lists and copying them, inserting into them, sorting them, and reversing them. So first, let's take a look at copying a list. So if you watch the reference and value video, you'll know that we can't simply copy a list normally by using list A is equal to list B, like so. So we need to use something called .copy instead, or use a loop in order to go through the list and copy each of the values one by one. Please keep in mind list B equals list A does not work. This will not copy list A into list B. They will refer instead to the same list. And so if I make an edit in list A, such as changing its first element to 0, this means it will make the same change to list B since they are the same list. If I print out list B here, you'll notice that I have 0, 2, 3, 4, 5 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if I decide to make list B equal list A.copy instead, what will happen is this will mean that list A, if I change it, for instance, now I'm going to change the first element to 99. If I were to print out list B now, I will still end up with 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, since my copy was 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, instead of having 99 as the first element as it is in list A. So please keep in mind when you are going to copy a list, you need to use the list name variable and then use copy after it with the brackets, nothing inside of them, in order to copy. And that will give you a copy of the list instead of making them refer to the same list. Next, let's take a look at insert. So far we've used append so far in order to add to a list. Insert allows us to insert somewhere besides the last element of the list. So here is a list A with the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then here is insert, which says that we are going to insert the value 5 at index 0. So this means when we are using insert, we need to keep in mind the first number is the index we are going to insert at, and the second number is the value we are going to insert. Keep in mind this can be an integer, a double, a boolean. It does not matter what type this value is. Please keep in mind that all elements that are after the insert element will be pushed one further in the list. In other words, all of their indexes will increase by 1. If I were to print out list A now, I will have 5 at the beginning since I placed it at the index 0, and then the rest of the list will follow it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, let's take a look at sorting. So sorting will always sort things by alphabetical or numerical order. So for instance, if I have a list here, such as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, this is the opposite of numeric order because it will always go from less than to greater than when sorting. So if I were to do list A.sort and then print it, this will instead make it so that my list will be printed as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, despite the fact that list A was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 before. You also notice that list A.sort will actually alter the values within list A. It will not create a copy or anything like that. It will change the original list itself. Here I have another example where I'm using strings, and if I were to sort this, it is going to sort this in alphabetical order. Sorry, I forgot to print it. There we go. So you'll notice that this is in alphabetical order. We have A as the first element, then we have big as the second element, bird as the third element, hello, and then is. So it's in alphabetical order. This is the same order that would be used when comparing two strings by using the less than or greater than signs. Please make sure that if you are mixing strings and numbers, you will not be able to sort. This is because you cannot compare a string to another number. So if I were to try to sort this, for instance, and run it, I will get an error due to the fact that I cannot use a less than sign between a string and an integer, since that's what sort is actually doing between its two values. Instead, I would need to change them into all being strings to be able to sort them. If I convert my values at index 0 and index 2 to be strings instead of integers, so I'm replacing those values now with string values instead, now we can sort it if we want. So I can go and run and print out list C, and I will get them in order. Notice that all numbers will always come before alphabetical characters. This is because they are being sorted according to their Unicode value, and numbers come before the characters in there. Last but not least, let's take a look at reversing a list. To reverse a list, I will start off with a normal list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I will run the variable of my list followed by dot reverse with brackets and nothing inside of it. This will reverse the list, once again altering the original variable. So if I print out list A as well as its first element, you will notice that list A will be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the first element is now 5 instead of 1 like it was before. This is very helpful when you want to change something from being, for instance, sorted from less than to greater than. You can sort it and then reverse it so that you get the largest value first and the smallest value last. That concludes this lesson. Thank you for watching and have a great day.